1950s and 1960s, American aircraft producers were crazy about developing new jet fighters, bombers, and aircraft for the U.S. Armed Force. Some of the most successful designs are the F-4, F-15, and B-52, which are still in use to this day. Unfortunately, other models and prototypes were considered failed, and the U.S. Air Force wants to destroy them badly. On today's video, we have listed some worst jet fighters that the U.S. Air Force wants to get rid of. Convair YB-60. In the early 1950s, the U.S. Air Force wants a turbojet-powered heavy strategic bomber to carry atomic bombs across the oceans. Convair had built the B-36 piston engine for the Air Force and decided to simply replacing the B-36 prop motor with a jet. This new jet fighter is named YB-60, a 52-meter-long jet fighter with 8 G57 turbojet engines. The first of the two prototypes took off on its maiden flight on April 1952. The YB-60 could fly 4,667 kilometers at 751.5 kilometers per hour while carrying 36 tons of bombs. This jet fighter might be sounds impressive, but it was not as impressive as the Boeing B-52. They can traveling at speed of 845 kilometers per hour over a distance of 7,242 kilometers while carrying 35 tons of bombs. The U.S. Air Force canceled the YB-60 test program in January 1953, and the B-52 bomber remains in the U.S. inventory to this day. Bell XF-109. In 1955, the U.S. Navy and Air Force approached the Bell Aircraft Corporations with an idea in designing Mach 2 jet fighter that can launching and landing vertically. Bell then designed a jet fighter and unofficially called them XF-109. At 18 meters long, the XF-109 featured a staggering 8 GX5 jet engines, 4 afterburning motors with 2 motors on each rotating wake-tip nacelles, plus 2 other afterburners in their rear fuselage, and a pair of downward pointing non-afterburning GX5 engines behind the cockpit. With a power plant capable of exploding backward and downward, the basic shape of the XF-109 is quite similar from the supersonic jump jet F-35B fighter Lockheed Martin design for the U.S. Marine Corps 40 years later. Sadly, the Navy and Air Force both lost their interest, and the military canceled Bell's jump jet making progress in 1961 before the company could build an actual prototype. Lockheed RB-12. In January 1961, Lockheed Kelly Johnson submitted a proposal to the U.S. Air Force about his idea to take over the Mach 3 A-12 spy plane and modified it into an extremely fast strategic bomber. At the same time, Johnson also working on the missile-armed F-12 Factor versions of the A-12. The U.S. Air Force initially liked the idea, but they preferred another design called the Air-12. It was planned that the Air-12 would penetrate Soviet airspace at a speed of Mach 3.2 and an altitude of 24.38 kilometers, then fire single missiles from a range of 80.4 kilometers, striking within 15 meters against its target inside the Soviet city. The U.S. Department of Defense eventually took down the F-12 project due to cost issue and chose not to continue with the Air-12. The ballistic missiles are replaced with the manned bombers. The Air Force eventually acquired the SR-71, reconnaissance versions of the A-12 and operated it until the 1990s.